Home means Nevada. Mary writes in a steno notebook found at the church in her personal belongings, quote, Grand Rapids, Michigan, January 1949. Bishop Lewis called from Lansing and said he needed a worker for Pioche. He had talked with Malcolm Jones, who assured him I would be able to handle this assignment. Bishop sent a letter to confirm his phone call asking me to come to Christ Church. I was not sure I wanted to come to Nevada, but Father Jones assured me, of course you do. He sat down at his desk and wrote out a telegram of acceptance and said, send this. I left Grand Rapids in an almost new Buick, a demonstrator, with my few possessions, typewriter, sewing machine, movie projector, and slide projector. I headed south through Indiana and visited my parents in Jasper, Indiana, and arrived in Las Vegas February 1st, 1949, where I met Bishop Lewis at the Alaska Motel. February 1st, 1949, Las Vegas, Nevada, the year of the Great Haylift. Meet Bishop William F. Lewis at Alaska Hotel. Doris Evans, proprietor. Mrs. Evans presented me with one of their beautiful desert sands handmade vase. Mr. Evans holds patent for method of making this pottery. The colors go completely through the pottery. After dinner and visit with Bishop Lewis and discussion of my duties in Pioche and Lincoln County, I spent one night in Las Vegas. The next morning I left for Pioche, where I was met by Archdeacon Theodore Kerstetter. He took me to Mountain View Hotel, where I spent the first 3 nights until church building could be heated up and made ready. For some weeks, all of Miss Matz's things were placed in the bedroom, and I slept in the living room of the apartment. Miss Matz, also a deaconess and apparently having only one leg as reported by parishioner Sue Lloyd Hutchings, was retiring. Quote, Father Kerstetter held the Sunday service and I met the Pioche congregation, Isabel Godby, Mona Scott, Bernice Roeder Klein, and Agnes Catino. These faithful were the congregation on which I started to build a vibrant congregation. Unquote. Now, Mary does not mention anything about the town in these first few notes taken, but we must assume that she was in complete shock. Grand Rapids, Michigan to Pioche, Nevada? The year of the Great Haylift refers to a year with the highest amount of snow ever recorded in Pioche. I am amazed that she even managed to pull the grade into town with that Buick and no snow tires. My father brought his bride and me at age 2 to Pioche in late September of 1948. My mother later said that she would have left that year, but she couldn't get out of town because of the snow. In time, she began to thaw out along with the snowdrifts. Established in 1868, Pioche was named for a prominent mining financier, François Louis Alfred Pioche, and was known as the wildest town in Nevada. It was said that 75 men died in fights over claims, money, and imagined insults before anyone died of natural causes. During the years 1871 and 1872, 3 out of 5 Nevadans who came to a violent end did so in Pioche. Most of these unfortunates were laid to rest in Boot Hill, with tombstones sporting these epitaphs. Quote, Morgan Courtney, feared by some, respected by a few, detested by others. Quote, shot 4 times in the back, 1844 to 1873. Quote, Fanny Peterson, July 12, 1872. They loved till death did them part. He killed her. Unquote. James W. Hulse, in his excellent history, Lincoln County, Nevada, 1864 to 1909, wrote that Lincoln County deserves consideration as one of the more representative of Nevada's mining regions. Mining activity in southeastern Nevada prompted the legislature to create the county in 1866 in order to provide it with more local government control. It was named for the recently assassinated Abraham Lincoln. From its creation until the mid-1870s, it rivaled Virginia City as the mining center of the entire western United States, particularly the very rough town of Pioche with its rich silver mines. In the mid-1870s, after Pioche's boom had run its course, the county declined, but mining had a revival with the Delamar strike in the early 1890s. This lasted well into the 20th century. Later, after World War II, mining revived again with the lead, zinc, and tungsten mining, production at Pioche and Tempayute, but was over by 1958. The Episcopal Church arrived in Lincoln County on September 17, 1870, on horseback when Bishop Ozzie William Whitaker rode into town on his mission to bring the Episcopal Church to every mining and railroad town and Indian reservation in Nevada and Arizona. He had been ordained a priest in 1863 and was appointed missionary bishop in 1869, when both states were booming due to the gold and silver strikes. He later described his first service held in Pioche, quote, "It was in a drinking saloon, the largest room in the town. Amidst the incongruous surroundings, the services of the church were performed in a congregation of rough miners. About 150 persons crowded the saloon, and as many more were gathered around the door unable to gain admission," unquote. Bishop Whitaker had even covered the saloon artwork with blankets in this makeshift cathedral. It was upon the foundation of this church planted by the missionary bishop that Deaconess Mary Christiana Hitler set about to serve and build a congregation, doing the rural parish ministry that she had grown to love back in the days of her town and country council work. She was very prepared for her new work, as she had been seasoned by rural work in the Midwest, cathedral work in Michigan, and more than a fair amount of church politics. She had plenty of energy, which is going to be needed, because her new position required that she not only minister to the congregants living in Pioche, but also to all those living in Caliente, Tempayute, Elgin, and all potential congregants residing in the mountains, in the canyons, and on both sides of every creek, in a radius of 10,637 square miles. Deaconess Mary was very accustomed to driving long distances, but mostly on flat ground in the Midwest. Driving in Lincoln County is a different matter and takes the utmost of nerve and grit, which was not lacking in our enthusiastic deaconess. The Pioche Record of March 17, 1949 reports, Deaconess Mary C. Hitler, Sunday, 10 a.m., Sunday School, 11 a.m., morning prayer and sermon. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m., midweek Lenten service. Saturday, 2:30 p.m., children's hour. Deaconess Hitler will go to Caliente on Sunday evening, where she will conduct a service of evening prayer at St. Matthew's Church at 8 p.m. Unquote. One must note that Pioche and Caliente are 25 miles apart on Highway 93. Mary had other handwritten notes for 1949, and I quote, Number 1, vacation school at St. Bartholomew's, Ely. Stayed at hotel, John and Mary Ann Myers. Number 2, vacation school at Eureka. Stayed at Eureka Hotel. Called on parents of students, one Indian family, several children. I asked for birthdays and baptism information. Number 3, vacation school, Austin. Mary Ferguson and Father Kerstetter and I stayed with private family who had lots of cats. They also collected much old mining stuff in purple bottles. Undated notes, quote, From the time I arrived, regular Sunday services were conducted in Pioche at 11 a.m. and also Caliente at 9 a.m. One Sunday each month, a priest came to provide Holy Communion in both places. Both congregations were very small. Neither had a church school. Each Saturday, I arranged to get and show a movie for children. Everyone was invited and no charge was made. These were not religious pictures, but all were available in exchange for paying shipping costs. They were both educational and pure entertainment. This gave me an opportunity to learn to know the children and their friends. From this activity, a church school grew, unquote. During the 1950s in Pioche, I looked forward to Vacation Bible School. Deaconess Mary, with her love and aptitude for crafts, was able to turn this week into a vibrant and fun-filled learning experience. I was especially fond of the mosaic crosses we made from small broken pieces of old plates and dishes. Mary Bradshaw Swinson remembers making pincushions and copper rubbings, as well as the mosaics. I do remember learning how to look up the